I just bought a bunch of new lightweight gear and dropped my summer base weight down to 13 pounds. In this video, I'm going to show you everything I bring for hammock backpacking in my new Hyperlite Unbound. Alright, so let's start with the pack itself. This is the Hyperlite Unbound 40 liter pack. They also make this in a 55 liter. This pack loads from the top, one large compartment. The interior compartment fits 34 liters, and then there's an additional, I believe up to 15 liters of storage on the outside. Once you filled it up, you roll it down as far as you need it to go, and then you can either strap it down on the sides. There's also a center strap as well that can be used to secure it in place. Beyond the main compartment, there is this large mesh compartment in the back. It actually is like two pockets. There's one large pocket that goes all the way down and then a smaller pocket in front. And you can actually access the bottom of the large pocket by going through the smaller one. So if you wanted to store stuff down there and then access it, not have to dig through everything, you can use this pocket. The side pockets can be cinched down or they can be expanded and really fit quite a lot of stuff. So you can actually fit 3 1-liter bottles of water in one pocket. So quite the carrying capacity on the sides, and they're pretty easy to access when you're on the move. And then finally, there's a stretchy pocket on the bottom. You can either access it fully on this side, or this side has what they call a little like trash hole, where you can just tuck wrappers in there over the course of the day, and then you'd have all this trash you could just dig out at the end of the day. But yeah, I think that's a great place for trash or extra snacks. You can put your toiletries down there, so a lot of options for this extra little mesh pocket on the bottom. As far as lightweight packs go, this is not the lightest pack, but it came with good recommendations and reviews in terms of its durability and water resistance. So the trade-off is it's a little heavier than some other truly ultralight packs, but it's a little more durable. Between the rocks and the spruce trees or the whites, I wanted something with decent durability. Front of the pack, you have these really nice hip belt pockets, which are very deep. You can fit a lot of stuff in there, so I really appreciate the size of these pockets up front. And then the straps, as well as the sides, all have like just daisy chains. So you can attach all kinds of things wherever you please. If you wanted to put an extra pocket here, I use it for my personal locator beacon and a thermometer. And these daisy chains run along the sides too, all over the place. So like along this side here, there's a little daisy chain you can use, and then as well as down here there's also daisy chains, so you can really hang stuff from all over the pack. Lots of options to lash things on the outside. All right, so let's fill this pack up. We'll start with the interior and the big ticket items. First up, my quilts. So this is both my top quilt and under quilt to go with my hammock. I got the Hammock gear top quilt, the Burrow 40 degree, and then I have their Phoenix, which is a 3/4 length under quilt, and that's a 30 degree. But I need an under quilt in the summer regardless of the temp. Even if it's like 70 degrees, any light breeze under me, it would just suck the heat away. I just get cold quickly. So I need some kind of under quilt. 30 degree might be overkill, but I can always just loosen the straps so it doesn't hang as snugly against the bottom of the hammock, and then it won't be as hot at night. And I got them both in this compression sack, which packs them down very nicely. Next up is the hammock. So returning viewers might remember that this past winter I had a snafu with my Dutchware Chameleon. It ripped on me in the middle of the night. It was very, very tragic. And I have since picked up yet another Chameleon. I went with a stronger fabric. So the last one had the Hexon 1.0. This is the Hexon 1.6. So just, decided not gonna take any more chances. I'll go with the more durable fabric, even though it does weigh a little more. I opted for it. So this is my new Chameleon. It's a really snazzy pattern, I dig it. And this little bundle contains it. It's got the hammock straps as well in here. So in it goes. As far as the hammock straps go, I'm just using some lightweight daisy chains. Simple and effective. The tarp is my Hammock Gear Quest. So this is your basic sill poly lightweight hammock tarp. No doors, just meat and potatoes. Not too pricey and fairly lightweight compared to the tarp I have been using primarily, which is my Winter Dream 12. I love that tarp, and it is great with the doors. It really does a great job of providing protection in inclement weather. But it is heavier. It comes in at 25 ounces, and this I believe is 15, so significant savings, and we're talking primarily about camping in summer in decent weather, so this tarp should serve me fine. Now I could have cut the weight even more if I went with a Dyneema tarp. and I did look at some of those, but primarily the reason I chose this is just expense. The Dyneema ones are cripplingly expensive compared to this guy. So maybe one day I'll upgrade if I really want some true super light backpacking, but for now this Quest should serve me fine. Next up we got my little pot. This is just a little tiny titanium pot. Works well. I'll put my gas canister right in it and just store it like that in the backpack. Gas canister is coming out because it is a consumable and it's not counted as base weight. All right, clothing bag. Quick drying tech shirt from one of my many races, one of my race shirts. I love them because they dry very quick, and so I generally bring one to have at camp. My long sleeve sun shirt with a hood. This is a very useful garment. I wear this a lot. It's just great for sun protection. Just if you're hiking, just need to put on a light layer. Extra pair of socks. These are darn tough. Fairly heavy socks, but if I'm hiking in the mountains, I'll want some socks like this. Even if I'm wearing my trail runners, I generally will go with socks like this. Pants. So these are my REI 3-season hiking pants. They provide a little weather resistance, and I find them to be very good pants. They're not the lightest though. These weigh almost a pound, so I'm sure there are lighter options I could opt for to really cut down on the weight of the clothing I bring, as well as packability. These do not pack down very small. And finally in my clothing bag are headlamps, 2 of them. I don't know why I put them in my clothing bag. They'd probably be better outside somewhere, but at least that's where they are for now. So I figure if I'm hiking during the day, I'm not gonna really need them. I don't really need headlamps until it gets dark, so I can safely stow them until they're needed. But I got my main headlamp, the Black Diamond Storm, and then I have a backup, a little rechargeable one. It's good to have 2 because you never know. And then the final thing going into the pack is my food bag, which contains the rope to hang it from, as well as a spoon. I hike primarily New England, and currently, as far as bears and other critters go, hanging your food generally works fine, and then established sites often have a bear box. But at this time, you don't need, I think, stronger bear protection, though bears are getting more and more aggressive, so maybe something that we'll have to plan on beginning to use more frequently in the whites. But at any rate, for now, I just use a waterproof bag to hang my food in. All right, plenty of room in there, which is good because I still have to put all the actual food in there, but that's what's in the main compartment, and now we will go through what is in the outside compartments. I'm finally bailing on my trusty Nalgene. I'll just reserve that for colder months now, but this is a much lighter option, so I'm just gonna go with some straight up plastic 1-liter water bottles. And then for my poles, nothing too fancy. I just think they'll fit pretty well, just sliding them into a pocket next to the water bottle. All right, so I got my toiletry bag, and I got my shovel, some hand sanitizer, some toilet paper. I keep my sunscreen in here. This is gonna go into this big mesh pocket in the back. I can push it pretty far down because I don't see myself needing it too often. Then above that can go my stove. Next item going in, down low, is gonna be my first aid kit. So bandages, aspirin, some gauze, anything you might need. I'm just gonna put that all the way down in the back compartment there. Here in the middle, we're just gonna put my tarp stakes. So these just going in this big back pocket in the middle. And then over on the side is my new raincoat. So this is one of my new items. This is the Outdoor Research Helium. Now the reviews on it are pretty mixed in terms of wetting out. Some people complain it wets out pretty easily, but it is a much lighter option than my Outdoor Research 4A, which is my bomber raincoat, which I bring year round. But I decided it was time for a lightweight option for trips when, you know, the forecast is favorable and I'm probably not going to need rain protection, but I should bring something. And so that's what the helium's for. So it's going to get packed in over here. And we'll put a bunch of stuff I want easily accessible in the front pocket. So the water filter goes in there, a little bug net in case I need it, can just tuck it in there. Beanie, hat, and gloves. You know, I carry these year round because you just never know, and it doesn't take much for me to get cold hands. So I just like having a beanie and some liner gloves just there if I need them, even in the summer months. All right, and back here we'll also hang my Mug. I gotta have my mug for my morning coffee. I'm gonna use one of these handy dandy little daisy chains and just connect it that way. Mug. All right, that brings us to the front of the pack. So we have these wonderful hip belt pockets. So one of them will get my phone, goes in there, plenty of room to spare. And then the other one, it's a state of things, but I need my glasses. I can't go anywhere without my glasses, so I'll keep a pair of my glasses in there. I'll keep my sunglasses in there as well. Just a little tiny knife, stick that in there. Still ample room in there for stuff. My Garmin Mini InReach goes on this strap. This strap gets my thermometer as well. All right, so this is everything that makes up the base weight of this pack. So I guess it's time for the moment of truth. Dun, dun, dun. That's right, put a scale in right here so I can measure anytime I like. 13.16 pounds, 210.5 ounces. So there you go, just over 13 pounds. Well, we're at our final weight total, and now we got the tramps up the hills with 13 pounds on our back. But of course, we have to add our consumables. We'll start with the water. Let's bring 2 full 2-liter bottles. Huh, all right. Well, that's a quick 4.5 pounds added to our pack. You gotta have water. Fuel. Stove's not much good without it, so this is gonna go tucked away inside my little titanium pot. All right, food. Here's all the food I'm bringing. And this is for a 2-night backpacking trip. So let's go through everything. So this comes all in at 2.5 pounds. And in the big scheme of things, that seems fairly fine. I don't know. I don't particularly pay too much attention to how much my food weighs. I like what I like, and I want to make sure I have enough that I'm full and happy. All right, first up is going to be my Tailwind packets. So these I just packaged myself from a big giant bag of Tailwind. I like these. I use them in my water just throughout the day. It'll be a little more difficult to get them into these bottles, but that's the price I pay for those lightweight bottles. But I rely on Tailwind throughout my hiking day. I feel it gives me a good electrolyte base. Anecdotally, I found that I cramped a lot less in my hammock at night since I've maintained a strict regimen of Tailwind during the day when I backpack. So I'm gonna stick with that. So I got my Tailwind. So for breakfast, I got 4 packets of oatmeal, so that's good for 2 days. And then I got a whole bag of little individual sausages, 12 in total. So some of those will go towards my breakfast, and some of them will also just be snacks for the day. Some instant coffee measured out, so I have a couple cups for each morning. Snacks during the day, well, some of those sausages I mentioned. I also have honey stinger packets, so I'll bring 4 of these, and those will make for good midday snacks, as well as my soft and juicy mango. I know it's probably heavy as far as food goes, but I love chewing on these during the day. That's a nice little sugar kick. For dinner meals, I have just 2 Mountain House meals, but I could go with any of the brands. I'm not particularly loyal to any of them, so I just grab whatever is available to me at the time. This happens to be beef stew and chicken fried rice, but I'll bring those for dinner. And then for dessert, these little Nutella bars, just a cookie outside and some chocolate inside. All right, will this all be enough? I don't know. It feels like maybe not enough, but then on the other hand, I generally pack too much food. So, you know, it's a give and take, and the more you backpack, the better you get at dialing your food in. So, you know, you got to figure out what works for you. I'll package up some of the sausages to go with a couple stingers and my Tailwind packets. Those are going to go into a hip belt pocket for easy access on the trail. And the rest of the food is just going into a waterproof bag that I will then pull out of camp and be able to just hang easily from a bear hang. Food definitely fills it up more, but still plenty of room in there. So that's nice to see. If I wanted to put more stuff, I definitely have room for it. All right, so with all the consumables added, what are we looking at? 20.5 pounds. All right, so there you go. On a nice summer trip, I can do a couple days with my hammock and 20 pounds on my back. They'll just get lighter as I go. Not too shabby. But of course, it's not all sunshine and daydreams out there. So let's look at some other options I could bring to improve my weather protection. All right, so there have been some wet trips I've taken with the guys in which I would not have been happy with this ultralight little raincoat, the helium. It would not have satisfied. So that's why you've seen, as so many times in my videos, I wear this Outdoor Research 4A. I love it. It's got the zips that go all the way along the side, so it can function as sort of a makeshift poncho if need be. So I use it a lot. And so again, if the weather is really nice, that's when I would try to use this, get away with the helium. But in many cases, I would want to have the 4A with me instead. So we'll swap that out. See how that fits in there. Oh, that's a little tighter, but oh yeah, it gets in there all the same, so that's not a problem. If it was like that trip we did to the Bigelows a few years ago where it just poured and poured, I may bring some kind of rain pants as well, just to provide extra protection. So those are gonna go in the pack. And what if it's gonna be chilly at night? You know, even in the summer in the mountains, it can get cold, and that sun shirt may not suffice. So in that case, well, I got my Cotopaxi Down Puffy. Obviously, you're adding more weight, but you are also adding a lot of warmth. So depending on the situation, even in the summer, I might be looking at bringing my Puffy. So let's get these in the storm pants in there. All right, now it feels like we're kind of pushing the limits of the indoor storage space, but it is handling it well, and it's still rolled up. So now I got the Puffy in there, I got my rain pants in there, I got my beefier raincoat on the outside. Now what are we looking at? 22¼ pounds. All right, so we added a few pounds of rain and cold weather gear, but there's still a few more things I need specific to me and the YouTube videos I make. So let's add those up too. First of all, we got my battery pack. This has a big honking battery in it, along with a whole bunch of wires and then extra little batteries for various devices. This is 1¾ pounds, so this is not light, but I do need it if I'm gonna be going out and making my videos, so something I gotta bring. Then I got my drone, the Hover Air X1. This little guy can come along, and it's actually quite compact, so it doesn't take up a lot of space, and it's not particularly heavy. In terms of storage, I'm gonna put the battery pack on the side pocket along with one of my water bottles. That's how big these side pockets are. It fits easily in there with the water bottle. And then my Hover Air X1, I'm gonna actually put that in the same hip belt pocket as my phone. So both the phone and the drone fit no problem in that hip belt pocket. And the last thing I have is my GoPro on a long selfie stick. I love this selfie stick. I love these long bendy legs, the way they wrap around tree branches, or they just provide a lot of stability if I'm using them as a tripod. So they work very well with my GoPro, which can be a little top heavy if I'm using the media mod attachment. So I like these longer, stronger legs. For storage, I find it actually works very well just to kind of slide it into my hip belt and use it as a holster. It works well. I can pull it out quickly whenever I need it, and it doesn't take up any more room in my backpack. We'll stick it in now just to add it to the full weight total. All right, so now we have my base weight, my consumables, more rain protection, and all my video recording and electronics. For the final time, what weight are we looking at? Just under 25 pounds, coming in at 24.92 pounds. So there you go. Total weight with all the bells and whistles, 25 pounds. It's a pretty far cry from the 13-pound base weight I claimed at the beginning, but I wasn't wrong there. It was 13 pounds and bumped up to just about 20 with the consumables. And really only another 5 pounds for some extra weather protection, as well as all my video recording equipment. So I can't really be too grumpy with that. 25 pounds isn't too bad. But as you can see, it adds up quick. Let me know in the comments what you thought, what you think I'm doing right, what you think I could probably improve on. And let me know what you're doing when you go out there in the backcountry. Thanks as always for watching. I do appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.